Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Rotary. First week in December. Let's get our meeting started. Today our prayer will be done by Keith Burns, our pledge by Larry Mays, our four-way test by Sigrid Jackson, and David has a song for us. Not the double D's.
Let's pray. Father, we just come to you and give thanks to you for another beautiful day. We thank you for the rain. We thank you for everything you bring to us. We thank you for being God, creator of everything that exists. We thank you for your son Jesus to be our Savior. And as we turn toward Christmas and move toward the holiday season, we thank you for Jesus and all that it means to celebrate his birth. We ask your blessings on everyone here, Father. Bless this club, bless the things that we do for our community. And again, as we move into this season and we recognize people's needs, help us to make a difference. Thank you for all that you do for us, and we ask this in the name of Jesus. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. You'll join me in the pledge to our nation's flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The four-way test. Please join me what we think and what we do. Number one.
Is it the truth?
Number two.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Number three.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, today, being the first part of December, I usually play a bunch of Christmas songs, starting the 1st of December. My good friend Dennis Strickland and I, over the years, we get about 15, 20 songs together, and we travel all over the nursing homes and hospitals, and we just play all over the place. And so I dug out this book this morning, and I'm sure you know this song. This one's called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, so just go ahead and sing along with me. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer game. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the others loved him as we shouted out with glee. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, he will go down in history.
That's the way to start off December. We got Rudolph in the house. I like that. It's usually me during the cold weather. Well, Mr. Willie, did you find a helper?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we doing the card game first or the
No,
happy
we're
button?
gonna get happy.
Okay, we're doing happy button.
Happy
Yeah,
button.
happy button, yeah. You wouldn't mind.
Willie's injured. He's on IR today. If y'all know a doctor, we're gonna get him hooked up. Hold on. Microphone, girl.
Larry Mays. Anybody else happy? Anybody happy? There's a couple of happy people. There's some happy people. Look at that. Tell us why you're happy, Jack.
Well, I don't know how many of y'all know, but I did lose my brother. I didn't think I'd do that. But anyway, the blessings is that he is in a much better place. He's not suffering from that big old cancer anymore. And I got to be with my family before I had to quarantine one more time. But I have not been and have not had COVID, but I don't want to be exposed anymore. So if y'all don't feel good, please stay home.
Well said. Amen.
I'm happy for a couple of different reasons. The first and foremost is that I am COVID-free now. Yay! 2 whole weeks of being on quarantine. Yeah, I got it at the hospital. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I did not. Did not. In fact, the hospital had a wonderful business before hours yesterday, and they were practiced social distancing. It was fabulous. The second reason that I'm happy today is because there are only 5 days left of Medicare open enrollment. Yay!
But it took 2 weeks off.
I did not take 2 weeks off. I worked from home.
Step up here. No, give me that.
I'm happy because I have a pillar. Okay, so those aren't really happy bucks. Those are kind of sad bucks. Our Christmas concert has been canceled. I know, but we got down to 30 out of 110 members, and they kind of thought that the attrition rate was going to continue. So no concert this Christmas, though we are singing Christmas songs for you in our hearts. But I am happy that 2021's gotten better, you know, and we're gonna all come back strong. So we can just get through this one.
And speaking of COVID, I had it months ago. But a couple of weeks ago, I gave a unit of blood, and I went online yesterday on Carter Blood Care, and they give you the results of your lab test. And I have COVID antibodies. So the problem is, I don't know how long that lasts. We'll see.
Can you share them?
Yes, you get a blood transfusion.
But I'm not a doctor. Oh, he's just happy.
I'm just eating. I'm just, I was hungry, now I'm eating.
Well, last week I told Willie I really enjoyed his sexy dance. I says, I am going to pay to see that dance again.
Look at his knee.
So, but it's, it looks like it's kind of, so this is, you owe me a dance. All right?
We can make that happen.
I think we could have a major fundraiser if we had those that contribute to singing dance, those that contribute not.
I'm on the dot.
Okay, I got a happy bud. So, on this date, 8 years ago, probably close to this exact time, I had this horrible car accident. I totaled my truck with the horse trailer and 2 horses in it, and walked out of the windshield with a tiny, tiny little scratch on my hand. That's it. I should have been dead. So, yeah, 8 years ago.
What happened to the horses?
The horses are still, they were alive, everybody was fine, one little cut on a horse, and my horse trainer that was driving, actually saved our lives, because if I had been driving, it would have been even worse. So anyways, 8 years ago, I'm still alive, and Friday, I turned 50, and I'm really, really happy.
Wow, congratulations on that. Turning 50, that is.
I think since we don't have a program, we ought to go and sing happy birthday to her.
We can do that.
You just laid it off.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Roxanne.
Anybody else?
Happy birthday to you.
Where's the paddle?
29.
We can work that
I'll
out.
be 49.
Okay, I put in a happy buck. I'm happy that Thanksgiving was wonderful. I hope you all got to see your families, whether it's in person or virtual. I had the pleasure of all my family down in Austin area seems to work from home. I don't know how they have jobs like that, how you get money, but they all did great.
They must work for Katie.
Yeah, she took 2 weeks off. I like it, but everybody's doing great, so that was good. So it was
I'm too
wonderful.
tired to have taken 2 weeks off, okay?
Also, while I have this mic in my hand, our program for today is ill. Hopefully, he has just got a cold and not something else. So, but we will be having a blood drive. Oh, I'm sorry, Willie. I'm trying to get ahead of you. Willie's all excited. I'm sorry. We need to take the deck of
We don't
destiny.
actually have a guest today. Let's have Miss Roxanne. She did such a good job with carrying the money around. I'm gonna let her draw a ticket, and you know the game. Read them slow, and when you get to the last couple of numbers, really cause them some
Roxanne, you
pain.
gonna dance for us? Like Willie?
Willie threw his hip out.
That's neat, but that's okay, it's a
Careful of that.
Yeah.
Okay. 19. 14. 94.
Yeah.
7.
And there we go, and just so you guys don't go to sleep, we got one other additional
41
donated prize to draw for, so we're gonna let Miss Katie pick the ticket, pick the card here. I'm gonna give it a quick shuffle, put down my stick. And, okay, here we go.
Just make sure to tell me where the ace is.
Okay, so we got a quick shuffle going there, or it's
I have the ace in my
kind of a shuffle, and a cut, and let's see, here we go. Close your eyes, pick a card, and sure you want that one, okay, don't turn them up. Do we even know how much money is?
about grabbed was red.
Is it?
I don't know.
Well, I had my eyes closed and he kept moving it, so.
I'll have to check.
Okay,
I have to
so
wait all day.
since we don't know how much money is in there, we're gonna give you $3 and the rest of it.
Oh, yeah, we'll
Okay.
be deposited.
That,
Very good.
2 weeks
very
off,
good.
paid off.
And it starts over, okay.
Better keep that.
Yeah, give me that card, that's mine. That's the winner.
Frame that one.
Yeah.
Make sure the next one doesn't look like this one, like it's red.
Right.
Are you gonna
Donate that back?
I didn't even get one today.
I was thinking about donating.
All right, Willie, you said you wanted to do one more?
Oh, yeah, we got, yeah, and I'm gonna let this same young lady, she did such a good job with that last drawing. Here we go, draw one more number.
There you go.
And it's okay if she draws her own too.
I didn't get any tickets.
Oh, did you? Okay. I could have hooked you up.
Playing up there.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have had a donation of a centerpiece for, or you can turn it sideways.
That's from Sigrid and she made it.
Yeah, Miss Sigrid made that.
Okay. 19. 14.
Yeah.
94.
Or
2.
me.
Oh.
Karen won it!
I have much suspicion here.
Yeah, there's all those
Leave
other
it here
pictures.
for you now.
Okay.
You can come get your prize. It's
You're not a cop anymore, you must.
What's a cop, all the cop?
All right, so I'm not sure what the odds are, 2 people sitting side by side win,
Yeah, this is rigged.
It's a lot next to each
and
other.
bought next to each other.
That's right.
We're gonna have to get us one of those little rotating.
I'll give you the card.
All right, well, as I was saying a while ago, there will be a blood drive. It'll be held December 22nd, 10 to 2 at Century 21 First Group office. So if you need to give blood, it's a good time to come give blood. The blood drive bus will be out in front of the office, so we can get that done. There will be no meetings the Wednesday before Christmas and the Wednesday before New Year's. So we'll do next week and the week after.
16th, the last meeting.
Yes, 16th will be the last meeting.
And that's our little Christmas.
And we're gonna have a Christmas gathering there. And this year, we're not gonna have a full Christmas party. Looking around the room, you know, we kinda, like CJ's choral group, we kinda dwindling down a little bit as the season gets in here. So we'll meet on the 16th here. It'll be our Christmas party. You can bring a gift card for CASA. You can bring 10 gift cards for CASA, like we do for a normal one. That'd be great. And we'll just fellowship and have a good time here.
Remind me on the gift cards, do they prefer something like generic Visa? gift
Walmart,
cards, or-
Walmart.
Yeah,
So-
or Walmart, or
Yes,
like.
Walmart, Visa, something easy
But
for
you,
them to spend.
if you should check, because on some of those visas, they start charging you.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's probably best to do Walmart, because I'm telling you, if you don't look at those visas, after a certain time, they start charging you a fee. If you check a balance or something, it's,
Yeah,
you
Walmart,
have to really pay
Target,
attention.
somewhere they can go and get clothes, shoes, underwear, toys for anybody that comes in after the Angel Tree stuff, of which is right, their CASA finishes their, Angel Trees on December 9th. So any kids that come in after December 9th are not gonna be purchased for, so they want to be able to purchase, so that's why we need the gift cards to the generic locations.
Big Lots is good too.
Yeah, Big Lots.
All right. And, one other thing, as far as we move forward, talking about meals, you know, please make sure that if you're eating a meal, that you're being charged for it. We're trying to make sure that our billing's all correct. So, Rich said he'd pay for everybody's. I like that. Love it. Love the generosity.
Do you want me to say what we came up with last year as far as the meals, how it was supposed to work?
Yeah.
Uh,
throw
I'll just do it from here, it's fine, everybody can hear me, right? So the way that the meals are supposed to work is if you eat a meal every week, you are billed quarterly by our, treasurer. And so if you choose not to eat a meal, so I don't eat a meal because I bring my own meal every week, but if you choose not to eat a meal, but for whatever reason you couldn't get to a place to go and buy lunch, or you didn't bring your lunch, and so you come one day and you just want to have a meal, then you need to make sure to give Willie money.
And
mark
you paid.
And he will mark you paid for your meal that week. So I think we've had too many people that are eating that haven't told the treasurer either to bill him or paid Willie, or that the treasurer Karen's billing them for on a regular basis. And so we're ending up spending a lot of money.
Who is the treasurer these days?
Karen.
Me.
Okay, all right, that brings.
But you
some
pay
money.
Willie, when you come in, if you're gonna eat, or if you decide to eat, or if you have a
No,
guest.
I'm not eating, I'm just taking some stuff home so it doesn't go in the trash.
Yeah.
No, that's
There's no saying.
That's your eating though.
if you're taking
We're
a
paying
meal.
for that,
Okay,
all the members. But you pay Willie if you have a guest or if you take a meal.
all right.
Because I think the leftovers are being taken to women in need. So
Where are the leftovers taken?
I think they're taking to women in need.
It kind of depends on what is left and who, yeah.
I would very much hate for good food to go to waste.
Well, we're having to pay for 30 meals no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're paying for 30 meals no matter what. And,
Just to have them here.
yeah, and if over half of the membership isn't eating anymore, but they think it's okay to take a meal, it's not okay to take a meal, because we're going in the hole.
Yeah. So,
I have a question on,
I've been wondering all along.
before when we had buffet and we would bring guests, so did we have to let somebody know if a guest is coming? Cause sometimes we don't know.
Every guest that is a potential member is allowed one visit with a free meal. The member who invited them does not have to pay for the meal.
Right, but as far as ordering the food, I mean, we know we have some today, but.
Yeah, it's usually not an issue, and it
Right.
hasn't
Yeah, they
really been
bring
that big of an issue here
Okay.
recently either.
Unless you're gonna bring extra
But,
10 people.
Yeah, if you invite 10 people and you expect all 10 to show up, then yeah, you're gonna need to let the
Tell 'em,
president
yeah,
know.
okay.
But as Rotarians, if we invite a guest, each guest that is a potential member, potentially may sign up, they get one free meal. If you invite that person multiple times and they're still not joining, they're still just here as a guest, then yeah, you need to pay or they need to pay. I mean,
So they become a member.
it
Okay.
would
What is the cost?
$10.
$10.
$10.
we're just working on trying to ensure that
And
we're
the
not going
billing-
in the hole. too
Right,
much
in the
each month.
billing, I think we come to a conclusion, it actually is, your meals include like the building fund, some of the, our rent and all that. So as a member, if you're not paying for the meals and you're taking that out, I think it's a less than $10, right? Am I right in
Well, we
saying that?
weren't 100% sure how much it was, but we were gonna look into seeing, even if if it actually costs $7 for one of these meals, then we still need to, as Rotarians, we still need to pay that additional $3 even, like for me, I don't purchase a meal, so I'm still gonna pay the additional $3 for each week.
We used to bill that all the time, when did that stop?
I don't know.
Well, Karen's getting all into QuickBooks and learning.
We're trying to
and
figure it
some
out, is
New
the answer.
chapter, but we think that that is still being billed in the dues.
No,
Or the
that was
meal, I
always
mean,
a
in the
separate
meals,
charge.
in the meal.
Was
yeah.
it?
I mean, if you got a meal, then yeah, it was billed into the meals, but if you didn't
Didn't,
eat,
that's where.
Yeah.
you had a
Bills
separate,
That's an
separate
extra
charge
fee.
for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, cause I know that there's no way that that quarterly fee I'm paying is covering $10 a meal. I mean,
Well, they're using that as an average because of those that, like, if, say we are paying $8.50 a meal, the other $1.50 each week pays for our rent. We still pay rent to
no,
the
what I'm
nation.
saying is it's not high enough to cover
Oh, oh.
$10 a meal 4 times a month.
Yeah, I think we get it a little bit cheaper. It's probably making us some money too.
So,
Maybe $1.
either, yeah, I was gonna say either we're not getting charged for all the meals.
Right.
Or we're paying a significantly reduced rate.
All right, so we're gonna look into that, but we wanna make sure everybody gets it taken care of.
I take that back, my invoice, is completely correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it boils down to the, the four-way test we need to do. I mean,
Yeah,
we
you
are
did
here
the
for
right
the
thing.
Rotary
Yes.
Club to make money and to be able to give back to our community.
And we've already lost so much revenue this year, we need to not lose any more.
All right, so our speaker today is sick. So I'm gonna open it up to anyone that has a positive story and I always pick on Rich because he's close.
Rich,
How
can
is, how is our hospital,
I'll give you all a
sir?
COVID update. All
I'm
right.
not sure we wanna know.
I'm gonna stand over here, cause I know what you're like. Okay, so, I think COVID is always on everybody's mind, and it should be, and we're seeing things taking place that, many predicted and some didn't, but, it's been very interesting. So locally, the hospital has been absolutely full for 4 to 6 weeks, basically. And every day, we've got people in the ER trying to find beds for it, every day. And usually every day, by the end of the day, they'll get a bed. We'll get somebody discharged or whatnot, and we'll have a bed available. So it's been by the grace of God every day that everybody is getting taken care of. So we're real blessed from that perspective. Staff are doing magnificent, although it is heavy stress, very difficult working environment. But we've got some people who are stepping up, and we have an internal compassion committee, and there's other people who are stepping up, and like Dennis Denny's group is doing, it's adopting a floor, and they're doing gifts and some other stuff for our staff. So just acts of generosity have been fairly prevalent throughout this entire course of things. Very busy in these acts early on. Then the summer months, it was kind of nothing, but lately it's been picking back up, and we're really grateful for that. Nationwide, statewide, so probably statewide, probably in the next couple days, the governor is going to consider the Dallas area, which we are part of the Dallas 14, I think there's 14 counties in our region, that will be a hotspot. And what that'll mean is that we will be required to shut down elective surgery. And we'll be required to shut down a few other things. And we'll kind of see what the governor mandates or doesn't mandate. But the way that they figure that, if you don't know, is it's a formula. And so they take all the beds, not the licensed, but the available beds throughout this 14 county area, and I don't know how many beds it is, but there's a bunch, as you would think. And if the COVID population exceeds 15% of those available beds for 7 days in a row, then you become a hotspot, and they start restricting services, and maybe they'll start restricting restaurants more, and can't get a haircut, so if you need a haircut, you better get it this week. Those kind of things. So we'll see what takes place. If we maintain this course that we're on, it might be Monday. That's kind of what we're internally projecting. I don't think we're running region-wide, we're running about 16.5% right now, 17%. At our hospital, we're a lot higher than that. So we have when you take out all the maternity beds, you take out the rehab beds, you take out some of the beds that aren't available because they're, we have some that we had to take out of service when we had to move the 5th floor to maternity. We have 115 medical surgical beds that are available for patients. And our COVID population runs around 30 a day, 25 to 30 a day. So do the math, we're way above 15%, but we are not the worst in the region. And like I said, we're 100% full, and we are at the top with respect. We get a day in the report, we can see all the different hospitals and so on and so forth. And most of the other hospitals are running at 90% capacity. We're running at 99 to 100% capacity all the time. So that's good for the financials, obviously, but it's really tough from every other perspective. We've been really blessed to have all the PPE that we require. We've been really fortunate from that perspective. We're struggling with our staff becoming sick and being quarantined. Last week we had 45 employees out. Of course, that's spread over the entire hospital and multiple shifts and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, if you just get 2 or 3 nurses or whatever out, then it's a problem. The state's been really good. They've got a program where they are helping to supply staff and meet staff shortages. And we've got about 10 or 12 of the state employees right now, nurses and respiratory therapists. So they've been helping us out through this transition because you just can't go out and get people off the street. And you know, we're not accustomed to having a census this high. So if you're in business and your volume picks up 20% more than you expect, and you're a labor business like we are, you know, you got to find the labor, and the labor pool's not there. There are independent staffing organizations out there, but even they don't have really staff. But the staff that they have they have doubled their prices. So it used to be if we had to go out and hire a nurse through an independent staffing, they're expensive. So it's going to be like $60, $70 an hour. Now it's $140 an hour.
So how do y'all, if you have a nurse that tests positive, what about the immediate people she worked for? Do y'all quarantine them? Even though they're wearing masks?
Yeah, we go back and we evaluate that. And, you know, if she was completely none of our staff get ill from hospital staff. Even though Katie said that, she's just picking on me. I know how she is. But we don't get COVID from the hospital. You get it from the community, from your kids and whatever's. And so, but we have to go back and, you know, did you have lunch with somebody? Did you sit in the break room with somebody, you know, Tracy, which was 3 feet away, and spit on her a little bit? That kind of stuff. So we have to evaluate that as well.
And I think that's what's happening to most business. As for us, one of our branch locations, somebody got positive, so everybody she worked with had to go into quarantine. So you ain't got enough people to work.
Yeah. So you have to get tested, and you have to wait 5 days basically to get tested. And if you're positive, then you're fine. You can go back to work. But if you're negative, then obviously, if you're negative, you can go back to work. If you're positive, you can't go back to work. Sorry about that. Anyway, so
COVID brain.
COVID brain, yeah. It's kind of like our membership. Those brain cells are shrinking every day.
Yep.
See now, some of the exciting things. So we do use quite a bit of remdesivir. I think I'm saying that correct. So that's a really popular treatment, and we've used that quite a bit. There's this new antibody therapy. I can't even pronounce it, but they just call it BAM. That is what President Trump used, and we've got that as well. We have it in very, very limited capacity, and to qualify, you have to meet really strict criteria. You can't be an inpatient to qualify for this. You have to be an outpatient, and you have to be at a high risk, but not too advanced. And we were given 12 doses. It's IV, intravenous, and we've used 6 of them so far, administered 6 of them, and they have really good results. So 6 people we were able to, we think, keep out of the hospital from getting really sick. through this other stuff that's going very well. We have applied and been designated as a vaccine distribution center. We're kind of waiting to see what that means. We certainly will be able to distribute vaccines to our employees. They're saying that we might start receiving some in December, but who knows? They're not really sure what the community distribution process is going to be. They talked about the pharmacies being the ones who will distribute it, but it might be us as well. Now, one of the aggravating things is that we had to buy two of these sub 70 degrees below zero freezers. So you gotta store these things in these sub-zero freezers. And so we bought two of them, $30,000 for the two. And so we can store the vaccine. And but the aggravating thing for us is like now we bought that and we thought, okay, so we'll box them up and we'll take them, some to our staff in Commerce, some to our staff in Quinlan, blah, blah, blah. And they're saying, no, you can't take them outside the hospital. They have to be administered in the hospital. So it's like, okay, you're gonna make it hard on us. So we'll see how that works out when we get the vaccine. And there's a lot of people out there wondering, gosh, do I want the vaccine?
Mhm.
And so I've seen, there's like 4 vaccines now, and I'm not an expert, so don't hold me to that high standard. But so one of the vaccines I saw that they said, well, if you take this vaccine, you're going to have 2 to 3 days of COVID symptoms. So I don't know how many days of COVID symptoms you had. If you had 3 days or 10 days, some people have no days. Some people have 14 days. So you're going to have 2. So obviously, if that's what we have, and we can't give it all to employees at one time, gosh, we won't have anybody, right? So we're going to have to divvy it out in little bit of parcels over however long it takes, because we can't have people out 3 days. We just can't do that. Another one said something to the effect, if I remember correctly, was if you take the vaccine, there's no guarantee that you won't get sick. I'm like, huh? Oh well, whatever. So so there's people who are saying, I'm looking for that vaccine. All right, I can get back to normal. And then there's others who are saying, I'm not taking that vaccine. They can't make me take that vaccine.
The word
So
normal
we'll see.
is an interesting word.
Yeah. Well, they said last night, even if you take the vaccine, you still have to wear a mask, you still have to social distance, you still have to do everything.
Well, could there be different strains, just like flu?
Could be, absolutely.
I think the research is showing it's mutating already.
And there's no guarantee. I mean, you can get a vaccine and you can have antibodies, but there are people who have caught it again. So we don't know how long the antibodies last, if that's a 3-week thing, a 3-month thing, or a 3-year thing. We don't know yet.
Well, I
at this
asked,
point in time.
Bob said that how come China does it? They're over COVID and they didn't do a vaccine. But he's saying they welded people in the house.
People what?
Welded them in, said you can't get out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's China.
That'd be one way to do it. I mean, everybody's shelters in place for 2 weeks and it can't spread, right? But
What is your shelter? What is your?
that'd be pretty hard. And you can't trust what China says anyway.
Is there any change on the policy of family member accompanying a patient while they're in the hospital?
We still are under those restrictions, but I gotta tell you, it is virtually impossible to police. Because every day we'll have people who want to come see, you in the hospital, but they're not on the list, and they'll say, oh, I want to go visit Dr. Emisco. Okay, I got an appointment with Emisco, so they walk toward his office and go upstairs and go visit you. That's just, people just kind of can cheat all the time. So that's we deal with that all the time.
No,
all
I
the
hadn't even
time.
thought about that. Wow.
Oh darn! I just got some more rule breakers here on my left. And so we try and keep it to a minimum. One person with an ER patient. You can't go in the NICU. You can't go into labor and delivery so much. If somebody is in COVID, you can't go, if they're, if they're active COVID, you can't visit them, period.
Last weekend, Annette's father was admitted with chest pain, and she wanted to go see her dad pretty bad, but couldn't do it.
Yeah. Here or elsewhere?
Here. So it kind of brought that home to us.
Okay. Was he COVID or no? No? Well, she should have been able to go.
Well, we didn't.
In the ER or inpatient?
He was admitted to the ER.
Oh, in the ER, yeah.
Did
But
they
his
stop her or
wife
did
was
she
with
just
him.
stay?
Hmm?
His wife was with him.
Oh, okay, yeah, only one person
Yeah.
has to go. Yeah.
The hospital was very good about understanding that Dad couldn't be there alone, and I was with him the whole time when he broke his hip a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And
I
they-
understand.
you know,
And
there's
we
no
want-
way that he could have been.
We've
with us.
struggled with that because, I mean, in a lot of places in Dallas, right now, they're saying, well, visitors hours are, 4 PM to 7 PM. That's it.
Yeah.
And we did a little bit of that early on. The problem with that is, the doctor's drowning on your dad at 10 o'clock in the morning, and he's telling your dad your instructions,
Yeah.
and your dad gets 50% of the instructions.
It-
So we need family to be around
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
Get the other 50% of it.
I told him in the
I
ER,
mean,
I
it's-
said, if you
or-
tell me I have
I
to
found
go,
out
I'll go. I
firsthand
said,
you
"But
can't
you'll
record
call me
that
back
either."
in 5
Yeah.
minutes.
So you need family to be around
Yeah.
just
They understood completely, they
for all
didn't
that
try
stuff.
to get me to go, they only had to talk to him once, and they were,
Yeah,
you're staying.
yeah. So
right?"
so we just debated that, and we just decided it's the benefits of having family there and helping with the patient and helping to understand the instructions and
Yeah.
the importance of communication was important. So right now, our visitor policies are like 7 AM to 8 PM or something like that. It's in that ballpark. But it's just one person.
I had a question about the vaccines, though,
Mhm.
Rich, I mean, normally, and I realize, of course, this is a strange situation and everybody's a little panicked, and we've done some really different things this year than what I've ever seen before, but there's no way to predict any long-term effects from these vaccines because they haven't been tested. I mean, they just came up with them and now they're pushing
Right.
it out to everyone. Is that really a good plan to rush to take something that you haven't seen down the road, whether or not there's any long-term side effects?
That's a decision everybody has to make for themselves.
Are they gonna get to make it for themselves? Because
I
I've
don't
heard
know.
some nonsense about making it mandatory.
I mean, that's a good debate to have is, can they make it mandatory? I don't see how they can do that, but,
Employers make it mandatory.
Well, some employees make the flu shot mandatory.
Like the hospital.
The hospital does.
no, we don't make it mandatory. I mean, we want everybody to take it, but there are religious exceptions, there are
You don't
medical
force your doctors to
exceptions.
take it?
Huh?
You don't mandate the doctors that practice there to take it?
No, you can't mandate it. There are exceptions. And then there are some people who just won't. So are you gonna fire your doctor because he won't take a flu? Now, I did hear the other day on the news, I don't know how true this is, that the airlines are saying if you don't have a vaccine, you can't fly.
Only one has said that.
Only one?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were all talking about it as a group, is the report I heard. So, I mean, so if they did something like that, then yeah, that's pretty strong, but, I don't know.
It was mandatory to have a flu shot when I was in the Army.
Well, that's a little different.
The government.
Yeah,
You don't have any
that's
rights in the
government
Army.
for- Yeah, I said politics.
Keith,
Yeah, you did sign on the dotted line
That's
for that
right.
one,
You will do what they tell you.
Rich, Keith is.
Yes, sir.
Keith is raising his.
Keith, yes, sir.
We were talking in my house just this last week about the mandatory part of it. And we were remembering as kids, there's only a handful of us in here that remember this from the 70s or late 60s. When we used to get vaccinated, when they found, we used to stand in line to get vaccinated, you get the little scar on your arm.
I still got
Yeah,
mine. I got mine.
We took a sugar cube.
Yeah.
We were standing in line to take a sugar cube. Remember that was mass distribution. I remember standing in line with my family.
Yeah.
But I remember when my kids were born, I was getting their shots and everything. I asked about, do I have to do it? I said, no, you don't have to do it. They can't go to school without having their shots, without having their shot record. So isn't it, wouldn't it make sense to be something along that line?
No, the kids can go to school now without shots.
Yeah.
Really?
As long as, if it's your personal preference.
Religion.
Yeah, but you have to go through a lot to, it's not just that easy.
It's
Cause I was
pretty
a
easy.
school nurse, well, I hadn't been for a while,
Yeah.
and I
It is
worked for the
now.
health
You sign a
department.
piece of paper.
But
And
it
I think-
wasn't that.
I think even back then, it wasn't mandatory that you got your shots, but it was foolish if you didn't.
Right, it was just not a very good idea to not.
Here's your polio shot, I don't want
But
the
I'm,
polio
but
shot.
because I work for the health department, I like the questions that CJ asked and stuff, because I'm kind of the same way. They did a lot of research on all these vaccines, you know, like polio and chickenpox shots and all that. And this one, to me, they just, I mean, I'm not quite sure if they didn't, you know, the time hadn't been long enough. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
kind of
they-
one of
yeah.
those that I'm pushed,
They know what the short-term implications are, they should, but they don't know
Yeah.
what the long-term
cause
implications are.
I'm
If
really, all about, you know, people getting vaccinated and stuff
Yeah.
for things, but I'm not so sure about this one yet.
So it'll be interesting how that rolls out and how the public accepts it or doesn't accept it.
But isn't there a difference in a disease versus a virus? I mean, like they do, they take the flu shot year after year after year after
You
year.
mean the
That's a
active
virus.
versus non-active virus?
Versus, you know, polio,
Well,
measles.
it's all something to combat the complications of the disease. So, you know, if getting, so like our county is like 100,000 people, right, give or take, a little bit less maybe. And we have had so far in 2020, from January to now, we have had about, maybe just like 3,000 positive test results. That's 3% of the population. However, there's probably at least that many who have been asymptomatic and just never got tested, probably. So let's say it's 5, 6, 7, 8%, whatever. Still, that's not a, I mean, to me, that's probably a medical definition of an epidemic, but from a statistical perspective, it may not be an epidemic. But
It's an
but-
epidemic if you're the one who got it.
But if you got but if you got it and you recovered, so you had 10, 14 days of agony, all right, that's not good. So you decide, do I want to take the risk of avoiding 10 to 14 days of agony? And we've had about 50 deaths, so, you know, what is that? 50 out of 100,000 is, you know, a percentage. Obviously, you don't want to be part of that 50. So you have to make that decision. And so, but the real issue, and I think I've said this before, was it's probably not so much that, you know, 3,000 people in Hunt County got sick, 2,950 survived. It's about the hospitals are full, and so you have a stroke, we can't take care of you.
Yes.
You have a heart attack, we can't take care of you. You fall and break your hip, we can't take care of you. Because every bed is full. And if we let this thing mushroom, like it is right now, and the beds get fuller and fuller and fuller, there's no beds available, so what are you gonna do when you need us? You're gonna be out there in the MASH tent,
Okay,
which is okay,
is the
but
match, is that still up?
it's not up, we
Okay, so
can
why,
put it up.
what's the difference, that's what I've noticed. The first round that we had, everybody freaked out and doing all this stuff, and now it kind of laxed, and so it all put up. Well, now I feel like we're worse today, but nobody's going back and doing all that stuff.
Well, our numbers are worse today,
Yeah,
but back in March, it was the tidal wave is coming.
but don't you think?
You're
it's
gonna
coming
find
now?
yourself, people are gonna be coming in droves.
Mhm.
And it didn't happen. But now we have other ways to prepare. And so like right now, we're preparing to double up beds in the ICU. So our ICU rooms will have 2 people in them, not 1. Which is not a very pleasant experience for those 2 patients. But then it's a matter of, can you find nurses? And we can't.
So how many beds do you have in ICU designated?
16.
16,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
you've got 16 beds and you're doubling up the room.
Yeah.
That's
So we take 32.
Wow.
And we have 50 negative pressure rooms, so everybody will have a COVID room, or virtually everybody can have a COVID room. But right now we have about 30 to 40 COVID patients a day. And that's a lot, and that puts us way over the 15%.
Okay, so your 15% is based on the number of beds, or
Yes,
is it based on
it's
your
based on
population,
the formula.
area that you take?
Well, the state looks at it as the whole area.
Okay,
They're not
so
looking at Hunt County.
the area
but
for
we're
this
a piece of the pie.
hospital, you take Hunt County, do you also take people from Rains, from Delta, from all around here, or is it?
They're looking at our hospital facility, wherever those patients come from.
Right, so you take in from all
Yes.
around, and you're the regional centre for the other outlying counties around here?
We have patients, we have quite a few patients from Rains County, we get some from Hopkins, from Fannin County, Delta County. We get quite a few patients from, I mean, those are small counties and small populations, so it's just a few, but it adds. But then we have some from Greenville who go to Dallas too, you know, so we have some that go other places and some that come here. But they look at our hospital, and regardless of where they come from.
And us as a county can't do anything to mandate shutdown, that he has to wait for the governor, right?
Yes.
No, I thought the governor gave the county judges that authority.
I don't think.
They have some authorities, but they
But there's people not gonna abide by it, they're gonna think you
they
don't
can't,
abide.
I mean, they can't tell the hospital what to do, I
Oh,
don't think.
no.
No, I'm just talking about others.
But they can
Yeah.
probably, you know, decide that restaurants are at 50% versus 75% or something like that.
You know, the difference between March and now is we know more about the virus.
Yes.
And we know that even some inexpensive like IV dexamethasone does get the information down, so we can take care of the patients a little easier and cheaper without having to do remdesivir or something.
Mhm.
So I think now that's the difference when she was saying there was a big panic in March. What's the difference? Well, the difference is we know more, even though we think it might spread,
Yeah.
but there's more knowledge about it.
Yeah. There is a lot more knowledge and understanding, but our numbers across everywhere are much higher now than they've ever been. So it's not a time to be lax on your diligence at all.
Thank you.
So we did have a speaker.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We used to give an individual speaker.
Always a pleasure, but I'd much rather have better news, but hey, truth's truth, and that's the way it is. Again, the people that signed up to ring the bell for the Salvation Army at Walmart, Troy asked me, he goes, why would we be inside rather than outside? But that's where they chose us to be. Because they have it divided off where entry and exit separate, so I will send out the list again, so everybody's got it. And then don't forget about a blood drive, need your blood, hospitals can use it. This ends today's Rotary, thank y'all.
Hey, the health kids be standing outside.